What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is ShadowFaxx. His opponent today in the red color playing as Joe. His name is Hades. The map is Mediterranean. This is a best of 3 for the Champions League. Joe taking the first game with some nice Ra play. Moving into the second game onto Mediterranean. Both switching from the Egyptians into the Greek gods here. Joe opting for the Hades, the defensive god, and ShadowFaxx opting for the Zeus, the offensive god. Both of these players are from England, actually, so it's a little bit of a English Premier League kind of fight here. Let's see who's the best British person. So very exciting. I like the Zeus pick here on Mediterranean. It is blind pick, so you have no idea what your opponent's going to pick. And I feel like Zeus has the best options against the whole cast of gods. So we can just run through all the matchups. So Zeus against Greek is fairly even in all the matchups, so it doesn't matter if your opponent's playing Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, you're going to be in a good position with the Zeus. Against Egyptian, Zeus straight up wins the majority of the games there if it's equal skill. And if we move on to Norse, again, straight up wins. There's nothing that the Norse gods can really do against Zeus. As soon as Zeus builds out his Jason and his Odysseus, goes forward and harasses, does so much damage to the economy of the Norse players because they can't really deal with it. And then finally, the Uranus players, it's a similar situation to the Norse, except it's a little bit more of an even matchup because of how strong the Atlantean gods are on the water, especially like a Kronos, but Kronos doesn't do a lot against Zeus either because as soon as you get the Odysseus out, that initial attack is shut down. You also have a ceasefire you can use, plus all those other things. The game's a little bit more hyper accelerated because of fish, so you can hit that late game a little bit earlier, which does make it a bit harder for the Atlantean players to push you out. And that's the world, that's the life. And yes, well, we're seeing what these guys do. We've got 5 villages, I should say, on the wood for Joe here. ShadowFaxx, on the other hand, has 5 villages on the wood as well. So very standard play here. ShadowFaxx actually opting to build a granary here. This isn't something we've seen very much from the top level Zeus players. They try and do something a little bit different. We see 6 fishing ship for ShadowFaxx compared to 7 fishing ship of Joe, and that's just simply because of that early granary being thrown down. Because there's enough pigs, you have that scout finds them all, you can just jump straight onto them and it's not going to be a problem. We do see some nice pig micro here from ShadowFaxx, bringing those ones over here to reduce the extra walking time. These villagers will probably move over onto wood here or something like that, no problems. Fortunately, these villagers that were next to the town center didn't have a close pig to walk to, so they moved over to kill the other pig. But no problems here. It should be about a 3:30 advance, 4:30 classical age here for ShadowFaxx. Joe looking like he's going to be just about the same here. Was actually cancelling the villagers. He's going for a very fast advance time. Nope, tell a lie. He just accidentally. He definitely will be a 4:30 for him as well. A little bit short on food, it looks like. Bunch of pigs here for ShadowFaxx just chilling here. Send them home. They're very valuable because if you lose the water, or even if the water's even, you may have to start eating them a little bit later in the game when you get those second or third town centers. There's the Athena coming through for Joe. Athena coming through for ShadowFaxx. Going up a little bit later. I think he had a little bit of build order issues there. If you don't get early hunt here, which was hunt, but it's a little bit far away. If you don't get early hunt as Greek, it can be a little bit tough to advance. But yeah, there are a couple. There is that modern build order which kind of works on every single Mediterranean iteration, so long as you find early pigs with your scout. It's the only kind of problems you can run into here. Do see the Catastropus for Joe moving in, going to be checking out these docks. ShadowFaxx not really respecting the pestilence possibilities from the Hades by putting these 2 docks together, but I guess he feels fairly confident in his ability to maybe just throw up a 3rd dock and be totally fine. Joe going up with that 2nd dock as well as the Catastropus comes in and sees that one. There's the Athena for Joe, throwing up both of those trireme, not building any myth units or any heroes just yet, I should say. No upgrades coming through for Joe, though. There's the hand axe. And ShadowFaxx, on the other hand, already has his hand axe. Both players going to be building out their trireme, going to be meeting probably closer to ShadowFaxx's side. These trireme probably not going to do all too much. And there is a bolt that can happen here as well to kind of change the tides of battle here. And then we do see that initial bolt there onto the trireme. I do much prefer to see the bolt saved for the Chiron. A lot of players like to go for that early bolt to just get a bit of a HP advantage, bit of a boat numbers advantage, going 4 boats to 3 boats now. But Joe can just sit underneath the dock and defend here. And now we're kind of 4 boats to 4 boats, a little bit even. And ShadowFaxx is going to be pushing in a little bit here. Nice micro pulling back on that trireme instantly there, but Joe's ready to retreat straight away. Doesn't take too much damage from it. ShadowFaxx's micro is always very, very good, and he's going to be attempting to continue that trend. Joe actually, as I say that, Joe pulling this ship back far away there, really hurting ShadowFaxx's boats here, and this is looking like a really technical fight here. Almost picking off this trireme, very low HP triremes here, and the aim of this early navy here is to get a lot of your boats very low HP and get a lot of value out of restoration. Whoever gets the most value out of restoration tends to win these water fights here. And we do see, what's this? More villagers just pumping onto wood here for ShadowFaxx, and the same for Joe, trying to get as much wood income as they can, because do want to grab a second town center at some point. Joe not targeting down those low HP ships here, and he's actually getting a lot of low HP ones, but not really doing the same amount of damage to ShadowFaxx. But once you get to those critical numbers, if you restoration, it doesn't matter about this, as long as you don't lose those low HP boats. So we'll see if that's what Joe goes for. If he goes for that restoration to just put all these boats back up to full HP. And he's just sitting right on his shore here. I love that play. Sitting right on the shore here, trying to get the best concaves he possibly can. Nice pullback there, keeping those low HP boats alive. It is about restoration time, as we do see ShadowFaxx casting it, but not actually able to pick off any of those low HP boats just now. We do see one going down, but the rest of them go up there for Joe. So Joe getting a huge win there on that fight, because all of his ships go back, but he's choosing to retreat here underneath the dock fire, even though it looks like he's got even boats. You should not be retreating if you've got even boats. And nice micro here from ShadowFaxx pulling Joe back. Joe doesn't have anywhere to really retreat to here, as he's still trying to just sit underneath these docks here, trying to assist his navy as best as he possibly can. A bunch of ships here for ShadowFaxx sitting idle in this fight. Now ShadowFaxx going to have to retreat here. It's currently 14 boats to 13 boats though, so still very, very even fight right now for both of these players, as he's pushing in and trying to get some sort of advantage here, but I don't see that. Hey, thank you so much for the 5 tier or 1 subs. Zebchi, appreciate that one, man. Appreciate you, man. And now it's looking like, what is this? I think I should probably skip that, but we'll see who gets them. Looks like ShadowFaxx actually very much losing the water right now, as Joe has managed to defend that aggression nicely there. ShadowFaxx retreating away here from the action, and that's beautifully played by Joe so far. And we'll see what the option here is. We check out the population. It's 67 to 66, so no advantage whatsoever for either player, apart from the fact that that Joe has Hades, which is going to have the stronger army a little bit later in the game, just by about 10% because of the Toxotes. I guess Soda's, the Hoplite have a bit of an edge over the Hades as well, kind of counter the Hades extra building hit points. And we're seeing yet again another fight here. It's about the same boats for each player here, but ShadowFaxx trying to do a little bit too much with the micro. You don't want to be pulling back boats unless too many boats. See, a lot of players go for these things where they grab 4 boats and pull them back because it's the general area of where the opponent's attacking. You want to just grab the one boat that's being attacked, and you just wait to see which boat takes fire, and then you pull it back. Instead of taking those guesses there, it tends to be a little bit more worthwhile. Now ShadowFaxx is going to be throwing up a 3rd dock here, and it's looking like no town center for Joe just yet, as Joe pushing out, going to be moving in here. But at this point, it's looking like it's still very even population here. Nice micro from Joe. ShadowFaxx has to be paying attention to this. These are the big Navy fights you're talking about. You need to get the focus fire done, but you need to split your ships up so you're hitting two different triremes at once. So it's really hard to micro back here. And that's sort of what Joe's doing here in this fight. But ShadowFaxx trying to pull back his boats as well, staying a little bit further away. Nice micro here from ShadowFaxx though. He's picking off a lot of those low HP boats, and there's still a couple left. Looks like Joe was really close to losing a whole bunch of ships there. And now it's 95 population for ShadowFaxx to 79 population of Joe. ShadowFaxx needs to press this advantage right now, but he's retreating away. He's got 22 trireme to 13 right now, but he's just letting Joe recover a little bit here. In fact, actually, Joe just is deciding to go straight for town centers, whereas ShadowFaxx is still building trireme. So he's going to have he's actually not going for them. He's going for a bit of a land push here, realizing that if he can send some villagers down to this side, wall this off, this gold mine is not going to be accessible, and he can push onto this gold mine and just go for a quick gold starve here as he loses the water though, as ShadowFaxx picks off all of these boats here. It's going to be huge. And we'll see what ShadowFaxx does. He's moving over here, going to grab the immediate town center, which does change things a lot here. If he gets this town center, then it means that for Joe to get into this gold mine, he has to run past the water where there's going to be trireme, or run past the town center, which is going to be a big issue for him. So here's the stable coming up, the archery range, 2 town centers coming up as well for Joe. So Joe trying to do a lot at once right now. It's going to be very difficult for him to boom and pressure here. So we do see the Minotaur coming in with the help of the Catastropus to delay this one, but ShadowFaxx moving in with his own Minotaur, building his Jason, his Odysseus. Gold villagers need to move over here, going to be throwing up a military academy and an archery range. ShadowFaxx's Minotaur gets the first headbutt there before headbutting back, and they're going to be targeting back onto that settlement there, retreating back. Ajax coming in to help pick off the Minotaur of ShadowFaxx right now. There is Grugnir Odin's Spear chilling here as the Minotaur getting chased straight into the Chiron there, going to get picked off. Now ShadowFaxx still trying to get this town center up. Odysseus coming over here to help out as well, and a Toxotes coming over as well. A lot of villagers coming into this one to help build this town center up, but a couple of villagers coming in as well to help prevent this one, trying to prevent ShadowFaxx with all of his might from getting this town center up. Villagers pulling off the town center now to pick off those Toxotes, and it's looking like ShadowFaxx is going to start being able to produce these units a little bit faster than Joe is. As he's got 3 military buildings to 2 military buildings, so he may have some sort of an advantage here, but the town center will be getting up for ShadowFaxx. That's huge as well. Not only that, getting up the bottom town center as well, and he's going to be eating those berry bushes from here. It looks like he's got Persine, I assume, and these triremes picking off the docks here. Needs to get those, actually picking them off, because they do a lot more damage than an average dock here. ShadowFaxx for some reason trying to move forward onto this forward gold mine with these villagers. You should just be playing a little bit safer here on this gold mine back here. And Joe retreating for some reason. He's actually got the numbers here to win this fight. And surprised to see no trireme just moving over here. They could really prevent this this shenanigans going on. We see some stables coming up now for ShadowFaxx as he's building units from everything here. Villagers almost get sniped and they are going down. This is really big for Joe. Every single villager that he's picking off does counteract the fish that he's lost here. And we do see him able to pick off a lot of straggler units as well. Villagers getting pulled off the gold mine here, also getting picked off as well. So this is really nice for Joe. Still with ShadowFaxx not... Just pull your trireme over here. Just do it. Trireme. Pick them in here. And ShadowFaxx picking off some Hippocon, doing some stuff. Toxotes sniping some units yet again, as Joe slowly but surely is falling behind on this army here. Looks like he's just not able to produce the units as fast as ShadowFaxx, even though he has a little bit more. He's trading more efficiently, but he's just not able to keep the production up here. Ajax does get picked off. Nice micro from that Toxotes, reminiscent of the Archer ship fire there. And Joe over here eating some ball while this is going on. And now we've got the Hades Shades coming in. They are very strong units. If you compare them to the Hoplite, 7.2 damage. The Hoplite's got 8 damage. 110 HP. The Hoplite's got 115 HP. 20 hack armor. Hoplite's got 34%, but that's a little bit more pierce armor. So it's a very strong unit, very underrated, and it helps out quite a bit. I think it also gets affected by armory upgrades as well. So later in the game, it's very strong as well. Doesn't really fall off at all. Now this forward situation for Joe getting picked off. In fact, ShadowFaxx deciding not to pick that one off, moving forward to see if he can do some damage to Joe here. I wouldn't be surprised to see ShadowFaxx advancing to the next age anytime soon. We do see husbandry coming through for both players here. ShadowFaxx getting his medium archers as well, and that does sort of bring them in line with the Hades archers, which is 7.15 damage. And once the Toxotes get medium for the Zeus player, they go up to 7.15 as well. Obviously a little bit more HP, so they take one more shot from the Toxotes to kill. But the extra damage is key there. We will be seeing the wall getting targeted down. Toxotes trying to defend here. ShadowFaxx moving in, going to start sniping these Hades archers. Picks off 2 for 1. Good trade there. And then it returns to taking down this wall. He's going to want to move through. We do see ShadowFaxx throwing up walls on this side as well. Going to be attempting to quarter off this map a little bit. Not sure why he didn't just wall this off here. Maybe he hasn't really seen it. Hasn't scouted out that well. But if he throws a wall off over here, he saves a little bit of resources. And it gets a little bit more of the map. And will secure his market as well. We do see Sentinels coming down on this side of the map here. And that's going to basically bring this game to a bit of a standstill. ShadowFaxx full population here, looking to go through Apollo, which he is going through. Joe, on the other hand, looking to do the same thing. We do see a bunch of trireme have popped out now for Joe, who has kept his fishing ship idle for a long time here. Finally going to get those ones back. ShadowFaxx has got a lot of trireme over here, though. Didn't actually delete any of them. He needs to move them in this location, though, if he wants to do anything. Nice micro from ShadowFaxx, pulling them back. But still not bringing all of his navy into this fight. It's going to be a big mistake here. And Joe's actually going to take the water back now, but it's not the biggest deal. No town centers are in range of ballister ship fire on this Mediterranean spawn. We will be seeing potentially some ballister ships coming out anyways. As ShadowFaxx comes around and surrounds these trireme though with the rest of his ships. This is pretty ballsy. A lot of these triremes here are not firing. They need to fire if they want to do anything here. But Joe going to probably win this water back for the time being, and I don't think that ShadowFaxx is going to mind too much. He should be on 80 villages relatively soon, and thinking about going to the Mythic Age himself, getting an extra 10 villages with Feisters in that Plenty Vault, or effective 10 villages. And it does look like ShadowFaxx, we're still building these ships, so he doesn't want to give up the water just yet. Pegasus is going to be moving forward, looking like we're going to see an underworld used onto potentially a gold mine over here. We do see that the trireme is going to try and chase the Pegasus down, but they're not going to quite be able to do so. 5.0 speed to 6.0 speed does mean they may be able to get an extra shot onto them, but with the inaccuracy of these triremes, it's not going to be able to catch up. We see some archery ranges coming over here, villagers moving forward as well as the Pegasus. I think ShadowFaxx is going to see this gold mine, be very happy to pick that one off. That's going to be the only gold mine that he has after this 2.8 1,000 gold here, 2.8k gold. He gets picked off. The villagers are under fire right now, going to attempt to run through this wooden wall over here, but most of these will get picked off. This is a really nice change of the map here. If ShadowFaxx gets some villagers through this underworld passage and builds a fortress here, he can start sieging this town center, no problem. Joe going to be moving over here with his Toxotes, though. He does have his own Apollo now to use. We've got heavy archers in for ShadowFaxx, and the villagers will see no resources in this corner here. We do see a market coming up over here. Going to be moving over onto this longhouse, this wood line instead. That's going to be spotted by the villager though, so we'll see what reaction ShadowFaxx wants to do to that. And we do see some of these units randomly running through the middle of the map here, as ShadowFaxx actually going to opt to move forward onto this fortress. Has to place that fortress a little bit further back. I would have preferred to see the fortress in this position though, because there's no sentinels on this. It's a very open position. I guess throwing up this fortress does prevent this gold mine from getting grabbed here, which is going to be huge. We check the technologies here. We do see Joe with a very early Hephaestus here. ShadowFaxx is already, I tell you why, ShadowFaxx is with the early Hephaestus, already has thrown that one up, going to be getting a Forge of Olympus as soon as possible. These villages being very inefficient, but what can you do? We'll check that out. We do see Forge of Olympus is coming in, so he's going to have that timing a little bit ahead of Joe, at least a minute and a half ahead of Joe. As you hit the Mythic Age first, you may actually be able to start sieging this one as well. I think there's a nice wall you could throw around here. I think the gold mine may be too close though. Maybe throwing up some stuff could be a good idea. Another fortress actually coming down into this location as well for ShadowFaxx, opting to really solidify his position over there. Throwing up some walls over here as well to keep these villagers in their little spot there. Villagers moving forward now for Joe. Going to be attempting to take down this fortress, which is in line of sight, it appears, but he'll see the other fortress back here. So this is nice for ShadowFaxx. And it is looking like his underworld passage is going to get picked off here. This is not what you want to be seeing. You see a Bellerophon coming in, and now ShadowFaxx can push in here, but it's possibly just going to be an underworld from this side of the map over to the other side of the map. Villagers can now move back, that they were picked off into this gold mine, and be totally fine. Hephaestus comes through for Joe, and he's going to get that Plenty Vault down, plus the Armory. We'll get Forge of Olympus as soon as possible, if he can afford it. He can't afford it, he doesn't have the favor. Oops. One thing you have to do whenever you click on Hephaestus is put a bunch of villagers onto the temple. Make sure you have the 30, 35 favor, whatever version of Age Mythology you're playing. Fortified town centers coming down now for Joe, and it's the Heliopoli moving in to try and take this location down. There is a Colossus here, but Perseus can pick that one off very, very fast. And if we check out the technologies coming through, we've got bronze weapons, bronze mail, and iron shields for ShadowFaxx versus no armory coming up for Joe at all. So these units are going to do so much damage to the enemy units here. As the Heliopoli coming in to pick these guys off. Bellerophon here though to pick off the Colossus if he can click on it and get the special attack. No, does not go for that one. Doesn't do a lot of damage to the Colossus, but with the 28 damage, the Colossus has so much HP. We see a Petropolis coming in as well, some sentry towers coming up, which will be able to help out immensely, as the Colossus looks like he's just eating some trees to stay alive for the time being. We do see Masons, or no, Fortified Town Centers comes in for Joe as he's trying to defend, but he's only got Toxotes here, which does not do that well against the Heliopoli without towers to boot. And we will see Bellerophon jumping in, taking a lot of that target damage there, and then retreating away. Has 6.0 speed, so he can dodge those arrows nicely. And the town center for Joe will get picked off as ShadowFaxx is still pushing in here. We've got a lot of idle navy here from both players as they're still fighting for the water, but it's really not going to matter all too much. Heliopolis coming in now for Joe though, who, wait, he didn't kill the town center. How did he keep that alive? Masons came through clutch there, I guess. I thought it was dead for sure. Colossus gets pushed back. Achilles, Ajax coming in here. And I think this is just like not enough units. Like maybe ShadowFaxx has gone too heavy on the economy or something. He's not able to really make any ground here as the town center is saved for the time being. And Joe's actually kind of equalized here. If he can get, he's getting his Forge of Olympus in, so he's still got weaker units by quite a bit, but there's just not enough units here for ShadowFaxx, who's trying to throw up sentry towers everywhere. He needs to get out his watchtowers, which is coming through, so it'll be here soon, but the sentry tower is getting picked off before it even happens, so no advantage there. Perseus out for Joe as well, so no sort of Colossus shenanigans going to be coming in here to do anything. Bellerophon coming back in as well. More hoplites getting produced as ShadowFaxx trying to do stuff. He's sitting at full population here. Needs to just say, okay, don't care about fish, don't care about navy. Just you can have it. I'm gonna go full military here and make this push happen, because he had the advantage there, just wasn't able to quite get it there. Nice micro though from the Bellerophon. I do find that this alerts your opponent to it though. If you run really far away, just run back and forth in a little straight line. Unfortunately, ShadowFaxx is not doing that too much there, as the Bellerophon gets sniped yet again. Does get a lot of value out of it though. It's only, well, I say only 400 gold. 400 gold is a lot of resources for a unit, but Every little bit of value you get is really huge. Heliopoli coming back in yet again. They'll just do get pulled off their farm job there onto this one. But unlike the siege tower, this Heliopolis lasts for a very long time against the villagers because it has 650 HP. And I'm a little bit... I think the Petropolis right now will be a very good idea. Just to have sitting in the back here, throw up some walls around it with the watchtowers out now. There's no Hippocon out at all for Joe, so you can't really pick them off that easily. The villagers don't pick them off at all, but it looks like the Heliopolis spam right now is going to be totally fine. So Hoplites randomly over here picking off some villagers. We do have to remember that Joe still has access to an underworld, so he could go for a Colossus spam here. He's got a lot of villagers on the temple. He could go for a Colossus spam, underworld passage here, take down this town center, and sort of transfer the fight somewhere else, or give up this location and take this location for himself, which would kill the trade route of ShadowFaxx, which could be huge. So we'll see what he decides to do here. He's not building Colossus at all. And it's looking like he's just attempting to keep this town center alive. Is Architects on the way? No Architects. We see Olympic Parentage and Signal Flares coming in for ShadowFaxx. Copper Shields for Joe, who's still very low on the armory here. And he will be able to take down the town center as it does fall, and the guard towers coming up. And you've got to take this nice and slow. You just push forward slowly with these guard towers. It's very hard for anybody to stop this when you're behind on population, because it means you have to build siege, which can't pick off the military units, and then your military units can push forward and do everything that they want to do. We are seeing this is exactly what ShadowFaxx is doing right now, which I love to see. When you're ahead, get more ahead. Guard towers are effectively like 4. I want to say if they're attacking, they're sort of like a +4 population, maybe even more. They do a lot of damage, 13.6 damage. It's a little bit more than a Toxodia, which costs 2 population, so maybe it's worth 5 population if they're attacking, which is crazy. And looks like Joe just about to crumble under this pressure that ShadowFaxx is putting onto him, as he does tap out. GG, well played by ShadowFaxx, taking this game with some nice boat micro here, winning the water early, then giving it back up to Joe a little bit later. And then this pressure here, nice underworld. Still would have preferred to see him throw down the fortress over here. I think it would have been a little bit better, but it worked coming onto this location as well. But that's the game. You see some guard towers coming up here for ShadowFaxx as well, which would have cut off this gold mine. But you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Joe not able to take this game with the Hades, and giving ShadowFaxx his first game. We're going to move on to game number 3 very shortly. So if you're enjoying the games, please hit that follow button and the subscribe button on the YouTubes, and I'll see you in the next game.